Good morning. Happy Sunday. My name is Laura. I'm going to sing some songs. We're going to sing some songs together. This is I Am Open. I think we've sung this here before. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. Let's sing that together. I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. Let's know this for our neighbors. You are open to receive. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. We are open, our big finish for this Sunday. Here we go. We are open. We are open. We are open. We are open to receive the love in you and me. We are open. We are open. We are open to receive the love in you and me. 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 We are open to the love in you and me. Thank you. Good morning. Okay. From the darkest place to a higher space, calling from every direction. On every single path I have stood strong, then cowered fast. What a strange perception. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could was where I stood for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. A higher good. Oh. Well, I'm always getting ready on steps that are so unsteady, dancing the same old dances. Well, I'm never really sure how to fit myself through the door. Well, it's all part of taking chances. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding the best I could was where I stood for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. And it seemed the road at ground level. I've seen the road at ground level, and there puts me home to revel on this fine day, for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up. I am a rising up. We are rising up into our higher good. Our higher good. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to continue to share your gifts. Blessings and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone you find yourself, wherever you might be traveling this morning, welcome. My name is Dr. David Goldberg, and we are Unity on the Avenue Spiritual Center. We are a radically inclusive community. We welcome people of all races, all relational orientations and gender identities. Wherever you are on your path, whatever you may have done or whatever you may not have done, we are all in this together, and it's a joy to be with you today. So good to see familiar faces, so good to see new faces. And note that I never said old. So what a joy it is to share some announcements with you as we get started this morning. It gives me great joy to have guest speakers to deliver our announcements. We know we're growing, we know we're awesome when we have guest speakers for the announcements. Oh my gosh. Please welcome our beloved Pam Goff and Glenn Wolfe.
I'm Pam.
I'm Glenn.
Yeah.
Zach.
If you're tired of seeing me, buy tickets so we have a sellout. Okay. Anyway, if you're tired of seeing me, buy tickets so we have a sellout. This Saturday, 7 p.m., we're having our first annual, I use the word annual, big band fundraiser, and the money will be used so that we can continue to fund our top talented people like Laura, Karen, Bob, musicians. Anyway, so I'd like to invite everyone to come. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door, or $10 if you want to bring your own chair and whatever else you might want to imbibe in. So I will let Glenn talk a little bit about the band.
Thank you, Pam.
A lot.
Not a lot. First of all, this place exudes welcome. I love it. I love the opening. It's great. Good musician. I always respect people who play piano and sing. I mean, the guitar, you just go up and down kind of, but piano, it takes more skill. Well done. And my name is Glenn, and Pam was out at DiCicco's restaurant here, about 2 months ago, and she wanted to talk to the band leader. And I'll get to that later. And I came up and she says, I know you, and I know you too, because we've seen each other in the last, 10 years. I deal with another band, and they used to come to those dances, but that band only plays once a year now. And so I've been shanghaied to lead this band. This band that's going to show up here was started by a fellow by the name of Bill Valentine, an Army veteran. And he spent a lot of years, he also was a saxophone player, he used to play in the Army bands, and then he got involved in the artillery thing, and he was an artillery officer. And all the years of lifting heavy shells, he injured himself. He no longer can play the saxophone. And he plays a little alto, and you can, if you're a musician, you know there are neck straps. He certainly can't handle a neck strap. He can't even handle a great big harness that goes around his shoulder. So he's out of it. So he says to me, because I was a high school band director, you're taking the band. I don't want to. You are taking the band. So I'm here to to tell you about the band and invite you, like Pam did, to our performance, which would be next Saturday night. There are 12 players in the band. Some people call it a big band. A real big band has 17 players. We have 12 players and a vocalist. But so we call ourselves a little big band. And our vocalist, you'd like her. Her name is Donna Oliver. She sings around town a lot. And if you meet her, she's about 60. And she's one of those people that's ageless. You never know. You look at her. At one moment she's 30. The next morning she's 61. It doesn't vary very much. Pam is really interested in power of music. And I told her a tale that I will not share with you guys, but I'll share another one. This band, about 3 years ago, just before the pandemic hit, we were playing out at this restaurant out on Tower Road, and a friend of one of my wife Cheryl's friends brought her parents there, and her dad was in the later stages of Parkinson's. And Parkinson's at the end has all kinds of issues, and in his case, it was a little bit of dementia and stiffening of the limbs, couldn't move, wouldn't want to communicate. And he was a former band director also. And after not too long, he starts moving around out there. Then he gets up and asks his wife to dance. And of course, the whole family was there like, what's happening? And that night, because of the power of music, he was his old self again. The girls, just like the other story I was telling you, the girls were bawling because they had their father back. And so was the wife. It was a great night. Unfortunately, next morning it was gone. But he came back a number of times, and that is the power of music, and that's why we'd like to invite all of you to come out. We also rehearse in a small church like this, and so for us it's going to be fun to be up here. I don't know how we're going to fit everybody up here. We've got a plan. There'll be saxophones and a drummer, piano player, bass player, guitar player, trumpet players, trombone players, a singer. You're the singer. And, we're going to be up here. But we'd like you to invite you to come because I think you'll enjoy it. And ordinarily we play for dances. If the spirit moves you, there's a little floor here. It's a little harder on carpeting, I understand. But she's the expert on that, and she said it can be done. So please come out on Saturday night. It'll be, 7 to 9? And it should be a good time for all. We'll have a kind of an eclectic mix of music. Some big band music. There'll be a little bit of Glenn Miller. There'll be a little bit of Carpenters, whatever. There'll be a complete collection of, I think we can please everybody. We'll try. And our only worry is if you have hearing aids, you might have to turn them off. And Pam even suggested she might bring earplugs because we'll try to play as soft as we can. But please come out. And Pam is doing this as a fundraiser, and she's a fireball if you know her. And so she would like to raise funds for the church, and that's what this is all about, correct?
Yes.
So we'll look for you on Saturday night. This is our second church service, so Cheryl and I will take our leave shortly after this. But I love what I see here, and it just has a vibe of inclusiveness. You said it, and I can feel it. So thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
That is Cheryl. Cheryl, stand up. No, when we walk out, you'll probably notice she moves rather slowly. She hurt her back, and that's been an reoccurring issue. And so we're the slow couple.
That's okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, we look forward to it.
Thank you. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Let's sing that again. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity on the Avenue again. And we surely can feel the presence of God this morning. Well, before I share a prayer with you, I want to show you. Oh, good. I love this. I have a sister. This is our prayer box, which is in the back there on the little table. And inside the prayer box, I want to bring to everyone's attention, there are prayer cards. If you have a prayer request. As prayer chaplains, it is our honor to pray with you. We are here to support you in affirmative and confidential prayer. We pray for your requests for 30 days, and your prayers are also forwarded to Silent Unity, where they pray continuously for 24 hours. So, and along with the prayer requests, there's this really neat little card on 5 steps, Unity, to pray. There are suggestions. So, and also after church, I'm here for anyone who would like to have affirmative prayer. And we have other prayer chaplains. Today, there's Penny Ware and Heidi Huson. And we will get better. I just thought we should have our purple stalls on so you'll know we're prayer chaplains. But thank you, David. We appreciate that. And today as we come together and we pray, our title, The Power Today is Love, the power of love, which is universal. And we are all connected through this circle of love. In fact, our prayer today is called The Circle of Love by Louise Hay. So as you settle in, just envision your fellow human beings, because it says, I envelop my fellow human beings in a circle of love, whether they are living or not, because we are all connected. I include my friends, my family, my loved ones, my spouse, my partner, everyone from my work, everyone from my past, all the people I would like to forgive, and I don't know how. I affirm that I have wonderful, harmonious relationships with everyone, where there is mutual respect on both sides. I know that I can live with dignity and peace. Please let this circle of love enfold the entire planet. And I let my heart goes out to all. So I can have a space within me filled with unconditional love. For I am worthy, you are worthy. I am beautiful, you are beautiful. I am powerful, you are powerful. We open ourselves to all the good that there is. And from from Charles Fillmore, we affirm, by the affirming truth, we are all lifted out of false thinkings into the consciousness of spirit. So please join me and let's read our statement of faith. There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, the omnipotent.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Oh, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you.
Just think what we could do if we practiced. And that's what we all get to enjoy this Saturday night, my friends. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for your flexibility and your beauty and your consciousness. Thank you, Pam, for your leadership and the extraordinary idea of hosting us for your new community, for all of us here at Unity on the Avenue. We are blessed and we are grateful. And so, my friends, Lived here my whole life, and dancing at altitude still gets me. So today we get to talk about love. No surprise there, right? That's kind of what we talk about every day in church. I'm reminded what one of my dear friends and mentors said many times to me and to so many other folks. Dr. Roger Teal shared when he was stepping into the senior ministry at Mile High Church some 35 years ago. He was working with his mentor, Dr. Fred Vogt, and Roger was expressing some concern, some anxiety about stepping into the pulpit, and he had studied with Fred, and Fred also was masterful in the work that he did in spiritual community. And Roger shared with all of us that one of the last pieces of advice that his beloved Dr. Fred shared with him was, Raj, just tell them you love them. And tell them again that you love them. So my friends, I would suggest that that is what Reverend Doris, that is what I get to do every week when we have the honor of being up here and speaking with you and sharing our hearts. It's a different way for us to tell you that we love you. And I've also shared that one of my favorite poets, one of my favorite New Thought folks is Mark Nepo, for those who are familiar with him. I saw something online today that just spoke to my heart, and it spoke to our topic, and I wanted to share it with you. In the face of adversity, the tool is only as useful as the hand that lifts it. And the hand is only as useful as the mind and the heart that guide it. In any given moment where love becomes visible, mind and heart and hand and tool are one. So as we step into the 12th, or one of the 12 powers, as we step into the light of love today, so much to share. So much to share. So settle in. We might be a little more than a few hours, but I know that nobody has any other plans. And I did want to share with you, maybe I'll move this if that's okay, Ken. Whoops. Thank you, Doris. So for those who may be joining us for the first time, we're talking about Divine Audacity, which is a book by Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsett. And her day job, Reverend Linda, is over all of Silent Prayer and Silent Unity and the entire Unity Worldwide Ministries prayer operation. So thank you to Reverend Doris for suggesting we dive into this book. We've been exploring one of these 12 powers, or as Reverend Linda says, one of these 12 lights every week. So we'll be doing that for a few more weeks during the summer. And I love everything that Reverend Linda offers us. It just speaks to my heart. And the way that she breaks it out or breaks it down for us is she looks at love through three aspects, those being magnetism, harmony, and unity. So let's think about that for just a bit then. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share, I was thinking about that trait of magnetism. And so, like every good researcher does, I Googled magnetism, and I got all this really fascinating stuff about magnets. And then I tried human magnetism, and then I got all this really interesting stuff about people who can draw spoons to them just because they can attract them and they're like human magnets. And I'm like, well, not exactly where I was going with this. And where I landed was an article in the Wall Street Journal that highlighted 8 or 12 people from all different walks of life and their magnetism and what that meant and what traits were in that magnetism for them. So what that looks like then in Linda's terms is that magnetism is the highest law of attraction. That is literally what we're talking about in attraction, right? Is what are we pulling in metaphysically? Are we calling in a relationship? Are we calling in perfect health? Are we calling in a job? Are we calling in money? What is it that we're trying to align with to pull into our experience. That is the magnetism that we are talking about. That is the great magnetism. So my first suggestion then for you this week is, what do you want to attract? And that is what we know to be true as metaphysicians, is what goes on in vagueness stays in vagueness. So the clearer you can be, is it a relationship? Is it a platonic relationship? Is it a spiritual relationship? Is it a primary sensual relationship? All are good, you see. And the one power, the one presence is in, around, and through them all. So what are you attracting? What are you wanting to pull in? Once you get clarity, Spirit can absolutely help with that. You've heard me use the example before. Many of us enjoy eating out at restaurants occasionally, or some more frequently. And when we go to a restaurant, we generally don't say, oh, I'll have 2 of everything on the right and 1 of everything on the left. We get to be specific in what we want from everything that is available. Well, so too is the buffet of Spirit, my friends. What do you want? What are you calling in? Your clarity allows Spirit to support you in that process. So one of those folks who was mentioned in that Wall Street Journal article on magnetism was Nelson Mandela. And one of the things that speak to my heart about his journey is, after the years and years and years of abuse and time in jail and political persecution, everything that he went through as he was stepping, literally as he was stepping out of years in prison, years behind bars, somebody asked him how he felt, and how he felt about the current regime in his country, and how he felt about his jailers. And he stood in the presence and he said, I forgive them all. Now, I'd like to think of myself as a reasonably spiritual person, and I don't know that I would have the wherewithal to do that. And when pressed on that, he said, the longer I maintain my hatred, the longer I continue to give those people who I don't necessarily support, as long as I give them free real estate in my mind, they win. And when I can forgive them, that doesn't mean that I agree with anything that they did to me or anybody else. And when I forgive them, it allows me the time and the space to create more good and call in more of what I want, call in more of what I'm magnetizing to myself. So be clear about what you want, my friends. And if it calls you, I invite you into that space of forgiveness. Don't give energy to the time, the people, the thoughts, the circumstances that you don't want to attract, right? Because that which we think about, we bring about. So that's the magnetism piece. The second thing that Reverend Linda gets into beautifully is that of harmony and the harmonizing power of love. We've all heard, whether it's song or poetry or speeches or plays. So Google love, and you come up with about 2.1 billion hits. You know, that would serve us for a whole long time to come. And the thing that I appreciate is how Reverend Linda and Charles Fillmore and so many of our teachers talk about the unifying power of love. When we hear all you need is love, it sounds trite, it's a nice bumper sticker, but what if we explored that? What if we unpacked that? What if we knew that to be true? You know, I'm reminded of the story of a king who had a wise man, and it was indeed a man, had a wise man who always supported him, whatever, you know, the king needed. Maybe it was astrology, maybe it was religion, maybe it was whatever was happening in the day. And the wise man was always there to offer his wisdom to the king. And so one day, something happened, a freak accident, and the king lost a toe. One of his toes was cut off. And the thing this wise man was known for was always saying, that is good. whatever the circumstance. That is good. So here's the king. He lost his toe. He's bleeding profusely. Everybody else is panicking and trying to do what they can do to save the almighty king. And here's this wise man saying, that is good. Well, the king got furious with this wise man. I'm now mangled for life, and I just lost my toe, and I could have bled to death. You know, guys tend to be a little bit more dramatic in health situations anyway. So the king was doing his thing, and in his rage, he fired his beloved wise man, this sage who had supported him for so long. And as the king proclaimed, "You are no longer a part of the court, and I fire you," and banished, and whatever else came with that, the wise men in character said, "This is good." So later then, the king was doing his thing and traveling from point A to point B through the woods with his whole entourage, and the entourage was attacked, and the king was taken hostage. And he was taken hostage by a tribe of people who believed in who believed in human sacrifice to their belief of God or gods. So they were going through this whole ritual. They bound the king, and they were going to offer this human sacrifice of high rank to make the gods happy, when somebody noticed that he was missing a toe. And they said, no, we can't offer this sacrifice. He's already been cut. He is imperfect. We need to let him go and find another human to sacrifice. So the king came back, he established his court, he called back his wise man. And he said, I still don't understand why you always do that. This is good, and that is good, and we're all good. And the wise man, and the king said, "Why did you say that when I lost a part of my body?" And the wise man said, "Your Majesty, when you lost your toe and you fired me, I said that is good. And when you were kidnapped and you were going to be offered as a human sacrifice, if you hadn't have lost your toe, we wouldn't be here speaking, you would be dead." And the king is like, "Okay, I can understand that, I can relate to that." And he said, "Why did you say it was good when I fired you?" And he said, "Your Majesty, if I would have been with you and you would have been declined as a human sacrifice, I would have been next in line, and I have 10 toes. So that is good. Where in your life, my friends, can you readjust, can you fine-tune your philosophy of what you're looking at? What is something that you're calling bad or interesting or unique or scratchy? What is something in your life where you can take a moment, take a step back and say, that is good? That is what we know to be true, right? Change your thinking, change your life. And in that vein, then, I'm reminded of one that resonates so deeply with many of us, I know to be true, and that is the late poet Maya Angelou. She wrote so beautifully, and for many years was mute, and she didn't speak at all because of physical abuse and things that happened to her. And then when President Clinton invited her to speak at one of his inaugurations, it gave her a complete rebirth as a poet, as a national and international voice. And Ken and I were just speaking this morning a little bit about that. And what did you say, Ken, that she is also She produced a Calypso album in 1955. Who knew, right? And that is, music is literally and figuratively about harmony. And I wanted to share with you also that when I was with Science of Mind magazine, we announced that Maya Angelou was our spiritual hero of the year one year. It was always our philosophy to choose someone who was not a member of our teaching, recognizing that wisdom comes in all of the world's teachings and in so many forms. And when we published that story with Maya Angelou on the cover, she was kind enough to send us a letter. And this is actually addressed to Mr. Alan Hubbard, religious science practitioner. Alan and I worked together at Centers for Spiritual Living, and he ran the publishing department with me. So it's addressed to Mr. Hubbard and friends. I am a loyal and dedicated reader of Science of Mind magazine and a student of the philosophy and the writings, in particular, of Mr. Ernest Holmes. My heart was lifted when I found that I had been chosen as a spiritual hero of the year for your magazine. I was also pleased to find an article in the same edition from the Compliant Free World. It is my pleasure to be supportive of Reverend Will Brown and to be a member of the group who has worn the elastic wristband. My prayer is with Science of Mind that you will continue to reach people who stand in need of your hope, your work, and your clarity. And in her own hand, it is signed, Joy, ! Maya Angelou. And that letter is dated March 24th, 2014, and it is from Wake Forest University, where Dr. Angelou served on the faculty. March 24th, 2014. Some 2 months later, on May 28th, 2014, Dr. Angelou made her transition at 86 years old. So that is harmony, my friends. I don't know what her religion was. I don't know what her spiritual belief system was. She reached out to say, thank you, I am honored, and I believe in what you believe. She didn't say, but I don't believe this, and I believe this, and we need to think about that, and we need to put those people aside. So where is the invitation in us? It's in the title of our spiritual center. We are unity. It's in the title of so many of our teachings. Where can we be that place of unity and connection? Forgive me, I got ahead of myself. So moving from harmony then into unity, unity is the ability to restore harmony at that basic level. I've shared with you several times my great joy right out of high school and traveling with the musical group Up With People. And one of the songs that we did as we toured around the world and sang in 8 countries on 3 continents was, "We are many, we are one." And I keep vowing not to sing to you, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But this one goes, "We are many, we are one, brothers and sisters wherever you're from. We all dance to a different drum. We are many and we are one." So what can we do to live that which is ours? What can we do to live in that space of unity? I'm also really struck, and struck is the right word, by the work of Malala. She is the young woman who was shot in the face by the Taliban when she was 11 years old. She was on her way home from school. They shot her, tried to assassinate her for the crime of being a female going to school. She had been doing a podcast, she had been doing some online things under an assumed name about what it was like going to school under Taliban rule in Pakistan. And they found out, and they really didn't like that, and they thought she was out of the picture. Well, come to find out, she was airlifted to England, where she and her family later immigrated. And she, in her book, I Am Malala, she talks about speaking before the United Nations on her 17th birthday. I wasn't thinking about speaking before the UN on my 17th birthday. And I just wanted to read you a very short piece of what she shared in her own words. "My father spends much of his time going to conferences on education. I know it's odd for him that now people want to hear from him because of me, not the other way around. I used to be known as his daughter. Now he's known as my father. When we went to France to collect an award for me, he told the audience, 'In my part of the world, most people are known by their sons. I am one of the few lucky fathers known by his daughter. And she goes on. My world has changed so much. On the shelves of our rented living room in England are awards from around the world. America, India, France, Spain, Italy, Austria, and many other places. This was before she was awarded the prize, I've even been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest person ever. When I received prizes for my work at school, I was happy, as I had worked hard for them. But these prizes are different. Yes, I am grateful for them, but they only remind me of how much work still needs to be done to achieve the goal of education for every boy and every girl. I don't want to be thought of as the girl who was shot by the Taliban, but the girl who fought for education. This is the cause to which I want to devote my life. Oh, I misspoke. It was her 16th birthday. On my 16th birthday, I was in New York to speak to the United Nations. Standing up to address an audience inside the vast hall where so many world leaders have spoken before was daunting. But I knew what I wanted to say. This is your chance, Malala, I said to myself. Only 400 people were sitting around me, but when I looked out, I imagined millions more. I did not write the speech only with the UN delegates in mind. I wrote it for every person around the world who could make a difference. I wanted to reach all people living in poverty, those children forced to work, and those who suffer from terrorism or lack of education. Deep in my heart, I hope to reach every child who could take courage from my words and stand up for his or her rights. I wore one of Benazir Bhutto's, Pakistan's former female prime minister and a friend and colleague and mentor of Malala's. I wore one of Benazir Bhutto's white shawls over my favorite kameez, and I called on the world's leaders to provide free education to every child in the world. If you hear nothing else today, my friends, please listen to this. Let us pick up our books and our pens, I said. They are our most powerful weapons. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. I don't know how my speech was received until the audience gave me a standing ovation. And my mother was in tears, and my father said I had become everyone's daughter. That from a 17-year-old. And serendipitously, tomorrow is Malala's 25th birthday. We bless this giant soul and all she brings to the planet, and know the highest and best for her in every regard. And for our other Muslim brothers and sisters who are celebrating one of the high holy days this weekend, we bless you in that expression as well, recognizing that we accept wisdom wherever it lies, and we honor you on your journey. So what we know then, my friends, is just as we have this connection for love and to love, if that's something that every person on the planet shares, is the ability to love and the desire to be loved. And there are as many different expressions as there are sentient beings. Some people show up in interesting ways. Certainly nobody here, and certainly not me, but some people out there show up in interesting ways. And they challenge us to like them, and they challenge us to love them. And that is what our work is, right? So I was sharing with you that Rick and I just caught up with Downton Abbey 10 years later. And one of the episodes in one of the subplots, a lord who is getting ready to marry somebody for it'll be a second marriage for both of them, and their kids don't approve. And his son, who is to inherit the title and the land and everything that comes with being a lord, is just not happy about any of this. And he is just rude. He's downright nasty. And, you know, in our day, he would have a mustache and he would definitely be the villain. And his father says to his oldest son, "My son, I have always liked you, And sometimes it has been a real challenge. I'm sorry, I have always loved you, and sometimes it has been a real challenge to like you. And that is the work that we get to do. We get to continue to love when we're feeling scratchy. We get to continue to love when we're not feeling love in return. So we get to continue to be that magnetizing force that attracts love to us, that helps raise the frequency on the planet. And we get to be that harmonizing force. I'm reminded of a television spot from the old days. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Talk about naive, and all of these people marching on a hillside and talking about turtle doves, and it was awesome, and it still lives with me and speaks to my heart. And then, of course, as I shared earlier, it's part of our denomination. It's what our founders blessed and honored. It is that concept of unity. It is that concept of leaning into it and learning together. So I had a great conversation with our board presidents yesterday, and one of the things that we were speaking about, Heidi and Lisa said, how, now that you're moving through the affiliation process for an ordained CSL minister to become a part of Unity, what are the similarities? What are the differences? What do you see? How is that resonating with you personally? And I said, it's resonating a lot. As Reverend Susan and I did a joint talk a couple years ago before she left, I describe us, certainly with no intent of offense to anybody, I describe us as different flavors of the same ice cream. There's a reason why we are able to do that, why Unity ministers are able to step into CSL pulpits, and why CSL ministers are engaged and encouraged to step into Unity pulpits. And the slight differences I see that I shared is that Unity is certainly more Christian-based and Christianity-based. And the Fillmores were fond of saying, we are Christians plus, we are Christians and we accept wisdom wherever it lies. And the other thing that I appreciate is that Unity has different points of entry, and that is what your board and your ministers have been trying to highlight as well. So if you resonate with the 12 powers, which is what we're talking about during this series, that's awesome. And there's more to come. There are chakras associated with the 12 powers. There are colors. There are disciples. There is scripture. So it is so rich and so full. So there are the 12 powers. And we have the 5 basic Unity principles. So if you prefer that shorter list, absolutely, whatever draws you in. If music sings to your heart, if music motivates you, that's why we have such a powerful and diverse music ministry. If you enjoy the labyrinth as a walking meditation, that is why so many volunteers maintain our garden so beautifully and so perfectly. So however you choose to come in through our doors, you are welcome here. And that is what we know to be true then. As we believe in this monotheistic tradition, in one power and one presence in one God, God is in, around, and through it all. So just wanted to share with you, wherever you are on your journey, there's nothing wrong here. You're not doing anything wrong. You don't need to do anything different. You don't need to do anything more unless you choose to. And if you choose to engage in that, that is why Doris and I are here. Let us meet. Let us have those conversations. Let us know how we can support you, you see, because that is what our lives in service are about. So it's a joy and an honor to be with you on this path. It's certainly an honor to be standing before you and speaking about love, where that is one thing that you all and this community does so beautifully. Please join me in prayer. So on this day, in this time, in this place, what I know to be true is there is only love. It is that one power, that one frequency, however defined, however described, however engaged. I call it good. I call it very good. I call it blessed and a blessing. The strength, the unity, the harmony, the magnetization that is love, attracting to us that which we desire and sharing in the universe that which we know to be true about every being. That is our work, that is our joy, that is our power, that is our presence. And I just say yes. I say yes for every beloved within the sound of my voice. I say yes to love. I say yes to kindness. I say yes to peace. I say yes in recognition of the Christ consciousness in each and every being, because each and every being was made in the consciousness of the divine. You are here for that divine appointment. You are divinely inspired and divinely at choice as to how you co-create a magnificent life right here and right now. And you see, as you co-create what is magnificent for you, it cannot help but overflow into the greater good. So by your doing your work, your individual work, you are supporting all of humanity and you are raising the frequency on the planet. And I say, yay. I say, go you. We may not be standing in front of the United Nations anytime soon, and we are standing in our living rooms. We are standing in front of our bathroom mirrors saying yes to life, saying yes to courage, yes to joy, and yes to love. So I simply say thank you. I give great thanks to the one power, the one presence. I know that it is good and very good. I know that it is in, around, and through it all. I release, I let go, I allow it to be. And together we anchor this by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. And so, my friends, this is that moment where we have the opportunity to give, where we are spiritually fed. I can't thank you enough for your kindness, for your generosity in offering your time, your talent, your treasure, and all combinations thereof. We are so blessed, and we take that fiduciary responsibility seriously. As a matter of fact, we're having a board meeting immediately following service today. So know that we appreciate you, we honor you, and we are grateful for you. We have many ways to give. For those in the room, we are most grateful as we're back to passing the basket. And we also have online options, text to give options through our website, and any number of other possibilities. If you need or want any more information on any of those, please feel free to engage Reverend Doris or myself, or our treasurer, Ellen, is here, and several other people have that information as well. Please join me as we bless our gifts and offerings. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
We must all unite, for we are one creation. We must join the fight, together we are strong. We must do what's right in every situation. Love each other's lives as you would do your own. Just think twice before you cast your stone at someone's soul. It's their life, so the choice is theirs and theirs alone. We're not here to judge, we are here to love. There's no time for hate. We are just one human race, so we must rise above. We are here to love. There's no time to waste anymore. We must all unite. There's no more segregation. Yeah. When you have seen the light, there's nowhere else to go. And with peace inside, no walls could separate us. We would be as one, because this earth is our home. Just think twice before you cast your stone at someone's soul. It's their life, so the choice is theirs and theirs alone. No, we're not here to judge, we are here to love. There's no room for hate. We are just one human race, so we must rise above. We are here to love. There's no time to waste anymore, no time to waste. Will we learn from our past? Oh, our clock is running fast. We are not here to judge. We are here only to love. There's no room for hate. We are just one human race, so we must rise above. And we are here to love. There's no time to waste anymore. We're not here to judge. We are born to love. We are here to love. There is no room for hate. We are just one human race. We are rising above. We are here to love. There's no time to waste anymore.
We are here to love, indeed. Thank you, Laura. We adore you. You're welcome back anytime. And so, my friends, just a couple of reminders as we move toward our closing announcements. Please do join us for our big band night on Saturday. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces, a 13-piece band. They know what they're doing, and it's going to be a great time. I also wanted to share with you, we're so pleased and happy and proud to announce that for this year, for the first time, Unity on the Avenue is going to be a part of Colorado Gives Day. So if you have participated in that effort previously, all of the information will be on our website if it's not already, but we encourage you to offer your gift to Unity on the Avenue where it will be matched. And unlike like many things that look so easy, this took a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort by so many people, and also spearheaded by Pam Goff. So thank you, Pam, for that. And it also gives me great pride and great joy to share with you that Reverend Doris is a grandmother once again. Joseph Dale was born last Sunday, just before midnight, so he was born on the 3rd of July, and my understanding is baby and mom and dad and siblings and grandma, everybody's doing well. So blessings, Reverend Doris. And so, my friends, as we shared with the newest addition to the Unity on the Avenue family, we are growing our youth ministry by leaps and bounds, and we welcome them however they come to us, all these giant souls with short legs. So please rub your hands together as we create some wonderful energy to bless the giant souls with short legs in our community and around the planet. You are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. And so it is. And as we go forth then, please know that you are loved, you are loving, and you are love in expression. Bless you this week. I look forward to being with you Saturday night or in perfect time. Please, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in power. Go in peace.
I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. Sing if you know it. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. And I shine. And I shine. Yes. And I shine. And I shine so bright. And I shine. And I shine, and I shine so bright. We shine so bright. Yeah. Thank you. Happy Sunday.